came from nowhere. They didn't really look like they were going to score, did they?
We said we were shouting in there, go on, we've got to go for it now. There's not long left now, and it's from a corner. I mean, the Portuguese, I'm sure, in their analysis of this, will be devastated the way this happened. Yeah. He runs here, this is Son at his best. But like Maurizio said, he hadn't performed well at all today. But this moment came, and look at the bodies around him, the white shirts. Look at all the bodies. How was he even seeing this pass?
Unbelievable.
Amongst all of those bodies. But the weight of the ball and the timing of the run was absolutely inch perfect.
Perfect. Wang Hee-chan. Yes, he can.
Everything about that goal was perfection. The run, the close control for him to get up there in the first place. And then to have the ability to pick that little pass and the way to pass. There you go. Put it into his path. I mean, the timing of the run and then the finish was meant to be, wasn't it?
Amazing.
Incredible.
Amazing. Heung-min Son.
Is that what you expect from him? You manage him, obviously.
No, of course. He's capable of his quality is amazing.
And he's been struggling this World Cup. I mean, he's going through. He's playing with this mask.
He's not in his best. Struggle after Marseille Champions League game, and it's impossible to play with this mask. But he's doing a great effort trying to be there inside to the pitch. But he's going to grow.
You can see what it means to the players. You can see what it means to all those fans. I mean, it's unbelievable scenes.
It's just fabulous. Let's confirm the table. Group H. Portugal finished top, of course, and will face the second-place team in Group G. That's currently Switzerland, but who knows what will happen in that group tonight. South Korea finished second on goals scored and may well take on Brazil. It could have been so different for Ghana even. They only needed a draw, but Andrew Ayew missed a penalty at 0-0 in a cruel twist of fate. Ayew, believe it or not, is the only remaining member of Ghana's 2010 squad that were knocked out on penalties after Luis Suarez's famous handball. What about, let's have a look at the, it's not the game that we watched, but the other game, we saw it at the end. Cavani went through, he looked like he was brought down. He was quite clever, he kind of stopped and almost forced a foul, but do we think it was a penalty, Maurizio?
Sure. For me, it was penalty. It's true that you were right, it was so clever, Cavani waiting. This
slows down.
This moment slows down.
But
he knew that the
big impact there.
That's a penalty. That should have been.
You can see why they're fuming afterwards. The Uruguayan players.
We're going to get the pictures of the players after that. There's a contact there. Oh. It's definite contact. Cute from Cavani.
They were very quick VAR as well. They didn't. They
didn't even normally they'd send the referee to go and have a look.
Well, only if they think it was a penalty, but they obviously didn't think so, because if they did, they would have sent it. They couldn't
have seen the pictures we saw then.
Well, I think they have plenty of pictures. I don't know. Maybe they thought he bought the foul himself.
Anticipate what VAR are thinking, because that's an impossible job.
I know. These are the scenes at the end, of course. Cavani's going crazy.
Jimenez as well. Look.
Jimenez there too. I mean. The difference between going out in the group stage and going through was possibly in the referee's hands and the VAR's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Incredible. And the prize for South Korea?
Place in the last 16 and a match against Brazil.
That's what I mean. It was unbelievable.
Fantastic. I mean, it just looked like it was sort of petering out, and then wham.
I need to go and have a wash. I was sweating all the way through that last 5 minutes of the game. It was and the game just blew up at the end. It was boring, wasn't it, at the big parts? But then this World Cup's throwing up some crazy results.
We're having fun, aren't we?
Yes, that's true.
What do you think, Alan?
It's unbelievable. I mean, I just didn't see that happening. I didn't see that happening in that second half, because we were saying it wasn't a great game at all in that second half. There wasn't very much happening, and then we were saying you've got to commit men forward, and then that happens. Magic, absolute pure magic. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny with the World Cup, it doesn't usually start until the knockout stage, really, but this has been a little bit of an exception. Rio, thank you very much. Mauricio, absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you to Alan. That's it for us. I'm afraid the boring group stage is over. It's knockout time. See you tomorrow. Given the scores in the other game, Portugal, I mean, beyond some kind of miracle from Ghana, are going to go through as group winners, aren't they, Rio? So do you expect they'll actually just see this one out, maybe make a few more changes, because they made a few before the game?
Yeah, I mean, they made changes coming into it, and the players come in and done well, and I think the manager will utilise the substitutions again freshen it up for the second half, but also keep people fresh for the coming games coming up in the knockout phases.
Ricardo Horta put Portugal ahead very early in the game.
Yep. Another player who's come in today and took his chance with a really well-worked goal. It's a great ball from Pepe, who started the game off. He's done about 3 or 4 of these. Must have been a ploy from the Portuguese before the game. Great from Delo. I mean, it's his second assist and 2 goals in the last 4 games for Portugal. But here, this is the defending from South Korea. They've got to get across. When the ball's on that side where Pepe is on that side of the pitch, as centre-backs, you've got to guide your back 4 across, shuffle it across. It wouldn't allow that space to then be open for Delo to get in there. And from this point on, there's 2 of them queuing up there, Vitinha behind Horta. It's a great ball, great cutback. So many goals now being scored.
Yeah, it's happened a lot of goals like this. I think the line defensive, when you play with back 4, should be more active and proactive, because I think the central back need to manage better the space, the gap between with the fullbacks. I think it was so easy to fix that situation. That was very good, and for the people to see, how they need to behave, the defensive line. And yes, many goals happen for this type of situation.
South Korea got themselves back in the game. Goal from Kim Young-gwan.
Yeah, they got a warning, Portugal. They got away with one when the cross came in, and then they scored and it was offside. But it's another good ball, and they attack it well. All right, they get a little bit of fortune when it hits Ronaldo, doesn't it? He actually turns his back on it.
Weird.
And it bounces really nicely.
He claimed the goal in the first game and claimed an assist on this one.
Great pass.
Yeah, he doesn't expect that to go there. He's expecting one of his teammates to clear that. You can see him turn his back, and it falls lovely into the path, and he sticks it away really well. Assist, yeah.
Maybe for him.
Yeah. Good reaction.
Rio, you highlighted before the game, didn't you, how deep South Korea can be. They've completely changed their tactics. I can only presume they caught your analysis.
Well, Jason Park's in a WhatsApp group, so he must have sent it over to the coaches before the game.
You sorted them out. They did, though. They're much different, Alan.
They're playing a crazy high line now, and what they're doing is that when Portuguese players have got no pressure on the ball, when that happens, you can't hold that high line like that, because you're getting runners exactly like they did for the goal. And I thought, OK, they've been caught out with it, they've conceded the goal, but they've continued to do it in any switch of play. There again, high line. You can see they're very narrow in there. That switch of play.
Gone from one extreme to the other.
Yeah,
really.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it is really high, and it's difficult, really difficult to do that. And you're going to get caught and get done by doing that when you're not having any pressure on the ball. And as I said, timing the runs, ball in behind, you're going to get that. He does OK. They make the run in there, which then creates the space for the fullback to come into, but they've been causing them all sorts of problems in doing that. Then the ball goes into the middle, and it's a ploy. The goalkeeper gets it again. One straight long ball for the running behind, and they've been caught again. If they don't change that,
how would you
get
address
punished.
that at half time, Mauricio? If you saw your team doing that, what would you say? You've got to drop when they've got the freedom?
That should go to press, like you say, Alan. I am agree with him. I think they were very compact. I think they were the distance was good, but after you need to press more to the opponent, and then the line defensive need to be more proactive and to slide.
You've got to anticipate. You have to anticipate.
Exactly.
Someone's on the ball. Is that person capable of playing that ball? And if they are, then you've got to alter your positions. The ball's looking to be going over the top after the first 2 or 3 times. Be ready to drop.
No. OK, we'll move on to the best of the action from the first half between Ghana and Uruguay.
Monta, I don't know how much more drama we can take, because our nerves are all jangling all over the place, but they've calmed down for this South Korea side. There we have their manager Paulo Bento congratulating the team. A beautiful story with him, actually. He was of course in the stands today, suspended from some altercations in the last match where Korea lost to Ghana, and the referee gave him a red card, which meant he couldn't be in the dugout for this one. But of course he's a Portuguese man. He played for his country as well. He played his final match as a Portuguese player against South Korea in the 2002 World Cup, I should say. So at this stage, he has been able to lead his side through, now representing South Korea as their manager, and he's beaten his home nation of Portugal But he won't mind about that because his World Cup dream and that of South Korea continues as well. Portugal and South Korea are through to the last 16. Despite that defeat for Portugal today, they are group leaders, whilst Ghana and Uruguay, who played the other match, are both out of the competition. It's been an incredible night of action. Once again, this World Cup does just keep on giving thrills and spills all the way, every single game, right down to the wire. But to be honest, that's just how we like it. And me and my panel would probably agree, although the emotions are sort of all over the place, aren't they? Jason, Christopher and Leanne, it's been another brilliant night. On balance, would you say, when you look at the fact that South Korea scored 2 goals against Ghana, they were held to that goalless draw against Uruguay, the fact that they have come out on the front foot in this particular game as well, on balance, do they perhaps deserve to go through ahead of Uruguay, who looked like they were proceeding at one point?
Yeah, I think so. I think after, when you look at the game against Portugal, Uruguay have been poor during this competition. I think ultimately they will feel really disappointed in the fact that they needed 1 goal, because you can sit here and say they've been disappointed, but they only needed 1 more goal to go through. But I think when you watch sometimes you watch it on TV, watch it live, you see things differently. I think one thing I saw of Uruguay, similar to Belgium, they just didn't look at it.
Right.
A lot of their players, Darwin Nunez, underwhelming. Bentancur got injured in the first half of this game as well, and obviously had to go off. But I think in the end, Korea Republic and Portugal deserved it. I do. I
mean, you talk about the 1 goal. I mean, they hadn't scored up until today.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
they've got themselves to blame, really. And I agree with you. I mean, I had them as an outside favourite. I thought they had enough coming into the tournament. They were strong. They were right through the spine.
Because of their passion as well.
Yeah,
the passion they have in that fight.
Freddie Valverde, we thought was going to be one of the stars, considering how he played for Real Madrid.
But for me, even like you were talking, Leanne, about Belgium, they just had no fight. Even like with Argentina and Uruguay, even if they don't play well, they roll the sleeves up and they dig deep and they grind results. And I just think that's a good quality in a knockout competition. But they just didn't have the quality.
There was no engine. There was no engine. You're kind of missing the velocity and tempo and speed that you look for. And then, here we go. Portugal comes out very similar to Spain yesterday, how they started the match on the front foot, playing well, combining.
Great ball from Pepe.
Fantastic ball from Pepe. Ricardo Horta. He's been in the international wilderness for about 8 years, and he got recalled back to the Nations League campaign this year and then made the World Cup squad as well. So he gave Portugal a brilliant start. And Portugal, at this point, they'd already qualified, but when you look at the players they have on the pitch, they're not going to want to give up.
Well, they made
the
6 changes, and you asked the question, like France, they made 9 changes. Is that okay? Listen, you can look at it. You protect players because they're on yellow cards, or you want to wrap players up in cotton wool because you're going into the knockout stage. But you make too many changes, and that sometimes it can be detrimental to the performance, the
and
attitude,
the confidence as well.
And then the confidence is not by
the morale within the game too.
Exactly.
The morale is down. I saw it with France when Deschamps made the changes.
Yeah.
Same thing with Spain with Luis Enrique. And here, I think you get it right. But
the thing is, though, you want to see players being given opportunity. You see Dalot there. He's actually been really good for Man United this season.
That's the positive side of making changes,
again,
isn't it?
It is. But at the same time, if you end up losing games, then people like us can turn around and say you've made too many changes. So it's a difficult one. But ultimately, both these teams have gone through, and I think they deserved it. If you look at the whole group stage so far. You look at Uruguay; they didn't deserve it.
No,
they played better tonight.
Do you think Ghana deserve it more?
Yeah,
they were on.
I do.
They were on track.
Yeah.
Ghana were doing. Ghana were bottom of the group, and it sounds weird to say that, but from watching them, I think they just needed a little bit more.
Right.
They
just ran out of steam.
And
I do think that turning point. Yeah, it is the depth of the squad. And we will be looking at the Ghana match very shortly, and I think it was that sort of penalty incident and the penalty miss that really sort of took the wind out of their sails a little bit, didn't it? But, here the South Koreans still had the wind in their sails. They still went for it right up until the final moments. We hadn't seen Son Heung-min score in this competition. We'd sort of wondered where the magic would come from. But as we'll see shortly, he did provide the inspiration for the winner.
Technically, I mean, Bento was under pressure going into this game.
Yep.
I mean, there was talk about him possibly losing his job if they were to get knocked out. And that's down to him being quite pragmatic in his approach. And the Koreans, they don't like it, do they? They want to see Son on the ball.
Look at their
love it.
characteristic as a team in transition. And they're phenomenal.
But then when you take the reins off,
right? Yeah,
they've got so much quality.
Absolutely,
it's kind of like, why don't you let them play?
Son as well.
Right.
Obviously, Son is the main focal point, but he's had that injury that he's not played.
Yeah.
And it was touch and go if he was going to make the squad. People were quite surprised that he was going to be in the squad. I mean, it's Heung-min Son. You have to put him in the squad if he has an opportunity to play at some point. But there are other players, as we can see in their team. This is a fantastic counter coming from Son Heung-min. It's absolutely brilliant. You know, in this situation, it's like one against five.
Thrives, isn't it?
And it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant play.
And he just slips it in between, freezes four players, and then
all the Portugal players are behind the ball. It's incredible.
Haven't we seen some unbelievable football when teams have thrown caution to the wind?
Right.
Germany last night, for the last 25 minutes, they were world beaters, weren't they?
Yeah, Musiala
the amount
was
of
incredible.
chances they created, they scored goals, opportunities, and you just think like, well, why don't we start the game like that?
Yeah.
You know, and it's again Korea. It's like when they need something, all of a sudden. I mean, this is unbelievable. I mean, he's got no support here.
But this is what Son Heung-min does best.
Yeah.
It's his pace, it's his tenacity.
Vision.
The ball just sticks to him, and then it's the vision.
And wonderful
right
run. Not all players make that run.
Yeah.
You know,
or go offside.
Yeah,
Go offside. They don't hold it.
The timing was perfect right here from Huang.
He's got three players around him. He still finds the quality of pass to put him in.
Yeah, and he is one of the superstars. You know, we talk about the Ronaldos and the Messis, but you know.
He's maybe not. He's not that bracket, but he's certainly you would look at him.
But he is
as the next bracket down.
But he's been consistent in the English Premier League for 2-3 seasons, and I feel like no one ever puts him in those brackets. Obviously not with Messi, but I think he's the one below that. He's brilliant.
I think he's in an interesting bracket where worldwide, if he plays in any stadium, he's embraced. People love him. He always got the FIFA Fair Play Award.
Yeah.
You know, and he's a different player than Andres Iniesta, who's
incredible, aren't they?
just a beautiful player, but he's loved the same way.
He is.
Throughout
he's a fantastic player, consistent as well.
Yeah, I feel that it's players like Son Heung-min, players like, for example, Luka Modric as well. He's won, the Ballon d'Or, the player of the year. We've seen Robert Lewandowski a bit underwhelming in this competition, but they are also those